On today's episode of Bloodstained Ritual of I'll Get to It Eventually, I Swear. Gunvolt Chronicles Luminous Avenger X2 is an action platformer made by Inti Creates that was released on January 27th, 2022. It is a direct sequel to Gunvolt Chronicles Luminous Avenger X, which is implied by its name as a spin-off series to the Azure Striker Gunvolt games. In X2, you are playing as a character named Copen on his quest to... Oh, I'm sorry, is this boring? Is this not the high-energy, entertaining experience you were expecting from me putting out another video on Gunvolt? Yeah, that was my thoughts playing this too. You know what? No, you guys are right. Let's step it up and give the game the energy level appropriate of it starting right now. Ready? Go! Nope, video's working fine. Your player's doing what it's supposed to. This is the energy level worth talking about this game with. Look, I'm not even gonna pretend that I can squeeze the 15 minutes I usually take for a cliff cap out of this game. There's just not enough here. But alas, I have put up a video on every other Gunvolt game, so what the fuck ever, might as well give this one a gloss over. And spoilers like usual, blah blah, this is a cliff cap for X2, or as much as I can be bothered to give it. I'm also saving gameplay for the end this time, since that's where most of my commentary is gonna lie. If you want to just skip to that, bam, go for it. For now, let's speedrun everything else. We already know most of the basics of this experience. X's soundtrack left a lot to be desired, and X2's stays right on the same course. Honestly, the only tracks I could particularly think of when doing this video were the two final boss themes, just because they're referencing Kohaku's annoying-ass theme and Igniter, along with a jungle theme, which only really stood out to me one way or another because it screamed, "Holy fuck, can someone get me out of this X4 time loop?" Our new, extremely well thought out plotline. Everything is going all happy honky-dory with Blade leading the world after you killed Asimov in X1, which I'm still not completely over, but we're not gonna go there right now. Copen's chillin', talking to Kohaku about this blaster rifle that just appeared in his hand out of nowhere, which those who follow Inti will know is Jason's weapon from Blaster Master Zero. What purpose does it serve here? Exactly nothing. Just as fast as we bring it up, Copen hears some distant voice telling him to save someone, and then a plot hole opens up. Literally. A wormhole of plot. The trio of Copen, Lola, and Kohaku are pulled into some parallel dimension and immediately introduced to this game's new, almost of age robot named Null. How important is Null? Well, she asks if you're human, since the world apparently doesn't have them anymore, and we smash cut over to Copen and Lola doing exposition about the area you're about to explore. Does that answer your question? So we're going to the Grave Pillar, which apparently has all the answers about the world and how you get home and all this happy jazz. You go up to it, another robot wakes up named Ypsilon. And you know what? I have a strange appreciation for this guy actually, not trying to be subtle about what he is. Copen shield from Gunvolt 1, same hair, same tactics, same color scheme, same voice actor. You know what? Finally, something in this confused series that thinks it's a visual novel without doing any visual novel stuff actually takes its origins and twists as serious as it is. Ypsilon bails, Pillar has a barrier, Kohaku shows up and the barrier conveniently evaporates because she's the only real human in... Right. Cyborg. You know what, at least the X universe is consistent. Towers blocked by keycards on robot defenders dubbed Gravekeepers. Kill 2, rematch Ypsilon, who runs back to some mother thing, get up to the next level with even more keycards, have an exposition that Null is a defect, that unlike any of these other workers as the robots are named, she doesn't have an assigned mission from the creator like everyone else. Useless set piece encourages her that she can find her own. Copen offers to give her one until she says, "Hold on. You go kill more baddies." Listen, I told you, there is basically nothing until you get to the last main level. X1's plot was lacking and most of my ad-libbing came from Gunvolt 1 and 2 info. X2 makes X1 look like a gold mine. I'm not wasting your time hamming up nothing. Her side dialogue is even more bland than usual, only notable for referencing Gunvolt 1 and fucking Galgun again. The Gravekeepers make whatever iteration of adept you can pick look interesting, save the completely extra booba bounce and Ice Lady's ult.
Booba? I see booba? Booba on my screen?
There is nothing here. We expect this by now, but this is its own level of nothing. Something about Ypsilon running ahead and finding this Mother program, talking her out of sleep mode. Ypsilon was supposed to be trashed a while ago. Mother gets all excited seeing a human, tells Ypsilon to go get her. Ypsilon dips back through to impersonate almost every other Gunvolt villain and kidnap the useless set piece. Ypsi takes her to the teleporter and then breaks it, so oh no, you can't do the thing. Guess we're stuck here and Useless is gone until... Psych! Null pops in and decides it's time for her to die to become the teleporter. Yay, another meaningless side character, self-sacrificing sacrificing and pretending it's emotional so a couple of weebs can feel bad about their new waifu dying. Okay, you know what? No, I found one thing to rant about in the plot here, so congrats, you get somewhat of a cliff cap here. You know, on one hand, I can appreciate that Null actually was a plot device at least. Says a lot better than Quinn and Xiao and Kohaku to this point. But here we are with this long, drawn-out death scene to try and pour out feels, again, about a character who could have legitimately not even been in the game, minus this particular plot device, and nothing fucking changes. I'm not surprised at this point. They do this shit every game. But seriously, how the hell do people think this series has a good plot? This is a half-written visual novel lazily slapped onto an action platformer that barely references the cutscenes. Few of these stand-ins even have character to develop, let alone actual development. The entire plotline is an incoherent mess to the point that literal Deus Ex is part of the plot of the main timeline, and also for pulling us into this world in the first place if we're going there. And remember that whole Lola breaking the timeline thing? Well, to put it shortly, that's apparently all good and well by the fan base because it comes from a different source. How do you know? Because her eye color. And this is said like it hurts my argument that this series is fucking stupid. Gunvolt 2 is the only one that did this semi-coherently, let alone well, but apparently Inti just forgot how to write a story or it was Capcom the entire time. Something, you can skip all the cutscenes and just play the game in any game, sure. But say what you will about the Zero series, by the time it's done, there's at least coherent lore to follow and actual motivations for characters like CL. She makes meaningful decisions that change the direction of the plot and has to come to resolutions for those decisions. Cringe aside, Null is literally just here to go, "Hey, I'm waifu bait," then go, "Oh no, it's so sad I'm a defect without a purpose," and then turn around 10 seconds later and go, "Kudimi, I found a purpose, it's to sacrifice myself for you, so please don't be sad about it." Like, why would I be sad about it? There's nothing to you! You spent 10 seconds on screen in a 40-minute game, almost all of which I'm doing platforming. Why do I care about you? The only plus you have is being the domino for the plot to keep moving and being an excuse for an Undertale reference. God, the writing is fucking stupid. Anyway, you kill Ipsy and use the Nulliporter to get up to the Hanging Gardens. Not the Eden Garden, though, I promise, guys. All the other workers got rebuilt, though 2 of them team up now. Nice page rip from 0-2 there. And also one of them is actually a marginally different fight. You catch up to Kohaku, and oh look, now she also has a plot device to be the human taken over by Mother. At least Mother bothers to clothe her more, that's some progress. Something, Creator gave Mother a mission to revive humanity and protect the environment, and she's been unable to do both. All the workers have forgotten the Creator and the humans, but since she's an AI, she can't override her orders. Hence she takes over Kohaku to have a human form to override her programming and basically blow herself and the world up. Yeah, I don't even have a reaction to give at this point, this is just par for the course by now. And hint, she's using all the Gunvolt 2 EX weapons. You kick her butt, but she says, "Nope," and keeps Kohaku handy to keep fighting you. Just now with the projection of an adult, more angelic and booba bouncing Lola, don't we all wonder where this is going? You kick her butt and then either rescue Kohaku to go back to your world as is after more meaningless exposition, or you can smack Kohaku around too hard so that Mother instead takes over her body for a bad ending, and Mother returns to your world with you as Kohaku. Don't really see how this is a bad ending myself, seeing as Mother seems to be, useful according to the dialogue. Strict upgrade from what we were working with, but the ever-long Gunvolt Creed to protect the lolly says otherwise. Oh, also, Mother's true form pops out when you save Kohaku, and unsurprisingly, it's an alternate dimension Lola. And that's the ending, unless you get all the bonus medals. Yep, those are back with a vengeance this time. This will take you to a secret teleporter that unlocks hard mode, and then to get the true ending, you have to do the whole game from scratch again, just with some very major limitations. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't do it. I don't care enough to, and we'll go over why with the gameplay in a second here. Let's run through what happens if you do. Short of the long, Ipsy now changes color scheme to blue and has electric attacks. So mysterious, I know. Lola hints he might be a ghost when you fight him the second time. Third time, off goes the helmet, and yeah, it's an alternate reality Copen. He's the one who called you to save Mother. He waves some kind of mystical looking bullshit before turning into a cyber elf. Like, actually a cyber elf, and floats away. Whatever he did makes it so the AI for the teleporter goes into your weapon, so now Null's back to life, and yay! Aren't we all happy that this game's cardboard cutout with tits is back? Beating Mother again gets you an extra cutscene where the spirits of the alt-reality Lola and Copen are reunited. Machine spirits are far from the dumbest thing I've seen today, so I'm not even gonna go there. Copen opens the portal to go home, and the game closes with them inviting Null to come with. So, if we get a third Ix, we get 2 useless bimbos for the base. Woohoo! Yeah, now there's really not a lot for me to pick at here. This is just typical Gunvolt cringe. I'm not even shook by this by now. I'll even say, too, that I did appreciate the additional localization this time. While it's not necessary, it is nice to hear Mr. Grump being a gravekeeper. And as a guy who enjoys Soul Calibur casually, Nier Automata, and Paladins, I am a sucker for Kira Buckland. But what I am shook by is the gameplay decisions made in this particular game. There was a lot of major changes, and they all leave me with one simple question. Inti, what the fuck? The reason I continuously tolerate this steaming pile of dog shit of a plot is for the insane speed and fun of the gameplay. Each Gunvolt game from the first added something new to the formula to really make the gameplay just more and more exciting. Gunvolt 1 started on a great foundation, 2 gave us Copen in the first place, Ix gave us Darkness Trigger. So what did Ix2 give us? Melee combat. Okay, that's a good change. Copen and Gunvolt have basically just been range characters, so this mix-up could feel good, right? Or so we all fucking thought. Because common sense said that Melee would be an add-on to what Copen already had. Little did we know it was a replacement. And for whatever reason, Inti decided, hey, check this out. We're gonna make playing the game the way everyone remembers and loves an earned thing. No, I'm not kidding. The whole bouncing around off enemies like a madman thing, gone. Copen has no more bullets, so he gets one air dash and then becomes a limp noodle. Needless to say, Darkness Trigger is gone with it, even though Lola still enters it to use the ult, so no explicable reason there, but whatever I guess. Ground dashing? Nope, that's a charge now. So if you've played any other Copen game or the Blaster Master 02 crossover, you're probably gonna dash at an enemy expecting to kick flip and fuck it up, only to end up slightly inconveniencing them while holding the saw blade out like an idiot instead. They also added pushable blocks and breakable boulders to use the shoulder bash on, which I just cannot find a possible explanation for other than justifying the ability and slowing down the gameplay for the sake of slowing down the gameplay. But okay, you get the dash that probably does stun or whatever. I'm sure you're thinking, it'll be fine for the gun anyway, right? And you'd be spot on there. If there was a gun. Copen has no more gun. Even if you wanted to say Copen's gun broke or something, it literally tells us in the first few sets of dialogue that he's casually holding Jason's gun from BMZ. There's no reason we can't have ranged combat. But apparently Inti doesn't need a reason. They replaced the gun with this grinder thing anyway that you can rev to do a little tickle damage, or do this 3-hit melee combo that does a lot of damage. So it's Zero Sword, whatever, right? Except no charging, and the combo forces you to be completely stationary. So it's just a strictly worse version. It feels awful to use. There's more forced puzzles that makes use of the grinder that again just slow us for the sake of slowing us. And to top it off, how does the normal old Copen lock-on gun tactic work? The grinder shoots mini buzzsaws. So please explain to me why we needed this thing. This is a strict nerf and just brings all the action to a grinding halt. Except, hold on now, not entirely. You can still do multi-dashes. Just you have to have 1,000 Kudos or Anthem to do it now. Talk about design and decision. You can't even commit to getting rid of the style. You leave it there behind a wall that tells the players they either need to crawl through the rest of the game to get their Kudos up to get back the gameplay they actually wanted, or they just have to intentionally die and fish for Anthem. And the Kudos one has an in-hand timer on how long you can hover without dashing off of something before you get locked out of dashing and have to touch down again. So if you really want to play Copen the way you always have, you basically have to Anthem fish from the start of the level. Now they did make Kudos a little easier to get in regular mode to make up for this. Hits no longer reset them, only checkpoints and ults from the previous formula. But you know what else does? Healing. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention. No bullets, no pervasion. Any damage you take sticks. I'm not even upset about heal being a thing and being a difficulty cutoff. Pervasion was too. But you're locking what was an in-hand ability in the past 2 games not only behind a combo wall, but now also the health wall. Since with no pervasion, you basically have to level up randomly. Still don't know why this game even has levels, but sure. Or die and attempt to keep the fun movement you came back for. And you have to avoid all checkpoints, so if you fuck up, oh what a shame, back to the start with you. Let's be real, how many people playing this game aren't here from Gunvolt 2 or X1? Maybe like 10? The fans bought this for more Copen gameplay and Inti just pissed directly on them. Hard mode just amplifies all these problems too. No more heal spell and a smaller health bar. So you're gonna be dying a lot. There's also lives now. Remember that thing back from the 80s that almost no one misses? Wouldn't be a big deal if Gunvolt had ever had this before outside the challenge modes, or if the actual ending wasn't locked behind it. But it is. And the whole stockpiling Kudos thing to get the dash back? Oh yeah, hard mode puts you back on Gunvolt 1 Kudos meter, where a single hit takes you back to 0. And there's no more bonus emblems to give you 500 Kudos a pop. No more Anthem either. So basically if you went out of your way to play original Copen by grinding Kudos and such, you're gonna have an even worse time in hard mode. The game all but straight prevents you from doing it. So not only did they give you hoops to jump through to get old Copen back, they then punish those who want the full ending for doing it. If you like the new combat, that's cool, but to actually play what most of us came here for, you basically have to sweat now. And Gunvolt sweats are definitely a thing, but most of the player base isn't here to do that. I am one of those people. And as one of those people, I can say that I have never been this level of bored playing through a Gunvolt game. No Gunvolt game has made me crawl through the level to actually be able to have the fun I've had the whole time the way X2 does. And hence it is the only Gunvolt game not still installed on its respective platform. And to top it off, there was a very easy answer to this problem. Remember Blade, the character that we still can't bother to name and Kohaku still just calls Sis? Yeah, very easily could have forced the melee combat style on her as a second character and kept coping as he was. Oh, but right, we opened up a plot hole away from Blade and brought everything here first, silly me. It's not like that plot hole could have been opened up with Blade there or anything. This was a completely avoidable mess, and it is a perfect poster child for overthinking your product. Again, this isn't anything new to Inti, they do this every time with the Gunvolt games anyway, and desperately wanting it to be a visual novel, but to throw your saving grace out with it is just inexcusable in my book. X2 is far and away the worst Gunvolt game. It's not truly bad, but this is just a wonderful reminder of why you don't fix what ain't broke. Inti tried. The result? This ain't X, Chief. This has been a Cliff Cap. I'll catch you guys next time. Also, big shout out today to your friendly neighborhood Brother Man. I actually said I'd had enough Inti pain and wasn't gonna get this game at all, but Brother Man decided he wanted to see me suffer and bought it for me anyway. So thanks, B-Man. Go fuck yourself and have fun playing Kingdom Hearts and pretending its story is good just cause it's better than this. Okay, one last note before I head out. If you guys have any suggestions for games to cover, feel free to toss them at me in the comments. Truth be told, I really just don't care about the Bloodstained IP anymore, so that's a big part of why this channel's been at a standstill lately. I do feel like I got a really good piece for that one, but I just don't care enough to finish it right now. I think I'm just gonna officially bookshelf that video and come back to it when I feel like it. If anyone has suggestions in the meantime, I'm all ears. Thanks for hanging with me, guys. Y'all are great. Hope to see you again soon. Alright, fucking Christ, it's done. I can actually focus on something else instead of Gunvolt bull. No!